What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Leo coming to you guys with yet another video, coming to you guys today with another reaction video, coming to you guys today with 10 best WWE matches of 2021. 2021 was an interesting year because it was starting to see where things were starting to go back to normal. We were seeing different things happen and take place. One of the biggest moments I remember is this was the year that Big E finally became WWE Champion. So this is always a year that I do remember solely because of that very reason. But we're gonna see what other matches Cultaholic comes up and deems best WWE matches of 2021.
2021 started off with WWE still in the midst of the pandemic era, trapped in the Thunderdome like they were Jim Carrey in The Truman Show, except for the fact that The Truman Show was actually entertaining. Fortunately, by the time the year was over, things were a little more normal again. Well, as normal as WWE has ever looked anyway. Regardless of what was going on outside of the wrestling bubble, the company was still able to put on some great matches, both in front of real fans and horrifying computer screens. I'm Adam Pacitti from Cultaholic Wrestling, and these are the 10 best WWE matches of 2021. Join us! Number 10, Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman at WrestleMania Backlash.
This was a good match. In the words of Big E, big meaty men slapping meat, this is pretty much what this match was. I won't be surprised if I see Cesaro versus Roman on this list. I think we also are going to see that triple threat between Edge, Daniel Bryan, and Roman at WrestleMania. I also think we're going to get to see Sasha versus Bianca because that match was really good.
Hopefully there are no vegetarians watching this video because we are kicking off with some meat. After a somewhat surprising retention of the WWE Championship over Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania 37, Bobby Lashley found himself once again up against the Scotsman with a new challenger entering the fray. Braun Strowman, who had beaten Shane McMahon at Mania, was inserted into the mix, laying the foundations for a seriously bulky match. The three behemoths just battered each other over the course of this relatively short affair at WrestleMania Backlash, going non-stop with their displays of power and ruthless force. This chaotic brawl spilled out all over the arena, including up to the LED board at the top of the ramp, which McIntyre sent Lashley through in a great spot. The Almighty eventually retained, albeit at the cost of some of his brain cells, bringing this whirlwind of muscle and carnage to an end. Bobby and Drew would continue to feud over the belts, but what happened to Braun? Oh, that's right, he didn't appear on TV again and ended up getting released a few months later. At least he's back now, eh? Number 9.
The Joker committed 5 murders in 4 weeks. Your last joke, you get what you deserve. That's not funny.
You're right, I should have told a better one.
Joker, only in theaters October 4th, rated R.
Cookie Run Tower of Adventures is officially available on both mobile and PC with Google Play Games. Immerse yourself.
Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus at Fastlane. Sorry, veggies, you can't come back in yet because we've got a bit more beef to talk.
Drew and Sheamus always had, no pun intended, bangers. Like, they've always just had great chemistry with each other. And you look at Fastlane 2021 and, like, on the surface, it really wasn't a lot of stuff that people were really looking forward to or look back at, and I would say it stuck out. But this right here actually did stick out. This was one of the better matches that they were able to put on that card on Fastlane.
Talk about. After years of being stuck in some pretty stupid storylines and feeling sometimes like just another body on the roster, 2021 finally saw Sheamus fulfill his potential as a hard-hitting, no-nonsense bruiser, a transformation that was kick-started by his rivalry with Drew McIntyre. The two IRL best buds butted heads over Drew's WWE title, with Sheamus turning heel in hopes of getting the belt. Unfortunately, McIntyre lost the gold before they could have their title match, but that didn't stop them from throwing down anyway. At Fastlane 2021, Drew and Sheamus went head-to-head in a no-holds-barred match, with months of frustration fueling the action. No stone was left unturned, no inch of space was left unexplored, and nothing not nailed down was left unused as a weapon, as this pair of burly Europeans knocked 7 shades of you-know-what out of one another. McIntyre may have won the match to build to his Mania encounter with Lashley, but this was still a huge achievement achievement for his opponent. Nice one, fella. Number 8, the SmackDown Elimination Chamber at Elimination Chamber. SmackDown's Elimination Chamber match at the pay-per-view of the same name was for a shot at Roman Reigns' Universal Championship at some point. It was a little vague with the time.
It was interesting because, like, you had some of your top stars on there, and, like, you had Daniel Bryan win, only for Roman just to come out right instantly and get, and pretty much give him the title opportunity, knowing Daniel Bryan was pretty much beat up after the match that he had. So it gave that edge to Roman Reigns for sure. But I think it still created a great narrative coming out of the show for sure.
Frame. There was plenty of talent in the pods as King Corbin, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan all vied for a chance to dethrone the Tribal Chief. And hey, when a match starts with Bryan and Cesaro and there's still more people to come, you know you're in for a treat. Though Raw's match on this night was a lot of fun, the blue version of the chamber just pips it in terms of action. There was plenty of storyline substance as well, as Jey, who was in the bloodline at this point, entered last looking to protect his cousin's interest. Whilst the Uso brother made the final 2, it was Bryan who won the day, going the distance to punch his ticket to a future title shot. How far into the future, you ask? Well, about 30 seconds. Reigns said the match would be happening right now and immediately beat Bryan to retain. Number 7, Roman Reigns versus Cesaro at WrestleMania Backlash. It's hard to believe, but in all...
I know when you look at Cesaro's career, there's really not a lot to take out of it. I mean, yeah, he was a former tag team champion numerous times. He was a U.S. champion. And it's like, he was one of those guys that was very good in the ring, but they never really tried to do anything with him. They never really pushed him beyond that mid-card tier. And then you have, like, your boss pretty much at that time and stuff like that just go on record and just say why he's not pushing you and why, you know, what the fans think don't really matter, because a lot of the fans wanted to see him get pushed. And then the fact that you had an opportunity to do just that, like, go back to 2014 and then look at the reaction that he got when he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And it's like you had all opportunity to capitalize on that and make him a huge star of it, and you chose not to. It's just crazy. And then you look at his career that he never competed for the world title up until this point, and it's like, okay, we already knew that they never saw him, but the fact that he went up against Roman Reigns and actually was garnered to have a great match like that, it really just proved my point. Like, they should have given him more opportunities to compete for this championship and potentially even get a run. I honestly feel like if he was in the Triple H regime right now, he would be world champion, or at least had a reign, or about to potentially have a reign with that title. Like, you look at Gunther's as world champion, and you look at somebody who could beat him. Cesaro is a guy that I think could really legitimately beat him for that title, and I wouldn't be mad at it.
All the years that Cesaro was in WWE, he had just one singles match for a world championship. And it happened the year before he left. The Swiss Superman not only got a chance at Roman Reigns and the Universal title, but he got it in the main event of WrestleMania Backlash, which had the word WrestleMania in it, so it would appear in more internet searches. Clever. It doesn't take a wrestling genius like me to know that with these two highly talented grapplers in the ring, a great match was more likely than not. Neither man disappointed, as the 28 minutes they were given flew by in a flurry of technical moves, power spots, and Roman yelling in Cesaro's face, which was the style at the time. Though he was unable to win the big one, the King of Swing showed that he was more than capable of holding his own in a big match, something that die-hard fans had known for years. Sadly, this did little to enhance his status in the company, as on the next show, he lost in the second match. Better luck at AEW, pal. Number 6.
Thursday Night Football on Prime. It's on.
Ready to have some fun? Yeah, let's do it.
This week, the Dallas Cowboys take on the New York Giants as Thursday Night Football is on. Stream Thursday Night Football only on Prime.
Just to name a few, he's
$5 drinks, $5 bites, 5 free games so you can play all night.
The men's Money in the Bank ladder match at Money in the Bank. Mania 37 might have been the first
This is a really good moment because we were starting to see the rise of none other than Big E. I mean, him winning the contract on them and that night. It was a very great moment. And I was at the SmackDown before they went to Money in the Bank. That was the SmackDown where the first WWE show where they had full capacity fans back, and how I did attend that show. And it was a really good, they had a really great reaction towards him heading into that. So I was excited to see them put the contract on. There's other people in there that I can see them putting the contract on. You had Seth in there. I wouldn't have been surprised if they put it on Seth again. You could have put it on Drew if you wanted him to go back after that title. You had Kevin Owens in there, I believe, as well. So you had some names that I don't think people would have been shocked at least for me personally, if they were to give them the briefcase outside of Big E. But they did pull the right decision and give it to the right winner.
Show with fans since the start of the pandemic, but Money in the Bank was the first pay-per-view to have a full crowd in over a year. So, how was it? Well, it was fine. Luckily, there were a few great matches on the night, especially this one, in which 8 men battled it out in hopes of becoming Mr. Money in the Bank. Ricochet, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, John Morrison, these guys were made to be in a big ladder match, and they and everybody else involved did not let fans down. Maybe it was because the previous year's match had been that weird one that took place in Titan Towers, but this Money in the Bank match felt like one of the freshest in years. Owens and Matt Riddle ran wild, Shinsuke Nakamura got to impress, Ricochet did what he does best and defied gravity. Not even a run-in by Jinder Mahal to attack Drew McIntyre could dampen spirits. To top it all off, the winner of the match was Big E, someone who had been long overdue a World Championship push. Truly a feel-good ending to a very entertaining bout. Number 5, Cesaro vs. Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 37 Night 1.
That was a good one, just because of the fact that with Seth and Cesaro, I think the story was that Cesaro never really had like a singles match at a WrestleMania. And the fact that these two actually went out there and had a great match, I really feel like 2021 kind of was seen as somewhat of a resurgence for Cesaro, just because of the matches that he was putting on, because the match that he did have with Rollins was good at Mania. The match that he had a backlash with Roman was really good. I really thought that this was a year that they could have pulled the trigger and probably, rejuvenated him, and they just chose not to, unfortunately.
In the lead up to WrestleMania 37, Seth Rollins became everybody on the internet and started pointing out how Cesaro had failed to live up to his potential in WWE. Drawing on the Swiss star's genuine lack of a sustained push over his career, the Monday Night Messiah railed on poor Cesaro until the strongman finally snapped, setting up this match for the first night of the Showcase of the Immortals. If you had told an indie wrestling fan in 2010 that they would be getting Castagnoli versus Black at WrestleMania, they would have wet themselves. It might have come about 11 years behind schedule, but the match still wowed, as the chemistry between these two men was undeniable. Cesaro seriously impressed here, showing everyone exactly why he deserved more prominence in the company. I mean, he even pulled off a bloody UFO, aka a no-handed airplane spin. How is that even possible? After years of being ignored, the cult hero finally got a big win on a big stage when he pinned a very dizzy Rollins to a huge ovation. Hey, hopefully Cesaro enjoyed his time in the spotlight. Unfortunately, it didn't last long. Number 4, Roman Reigns vs. Daniel Bryan on SmackDown. 2021 was
a good one, only because this is where the Roman Reigns character took a different approach. Not even a different approach, but just hit a new level, because we got the new theme song and everything like that. That's synonymous with this Tribal Chief era. I know he has a new, like a remix of it now, but like, the OG heel theme song when he was Tribal Chief, for sure. That was a really cool touch. And then the match they had, and I think the caveat was that if he lost, he had to leave SmackDown, and then this played into him leaving the company altogether because he didn't resign, which led to him going to AEW.
The year that Daniel Bryan left WWE to go to AEW, so you would have thought they'd have put his final match on a big platform. Nope, it happened on a random episode of SmackDown, go figure. After many failed attempts to take the Universal title off Roman Reigns, the American Dragon agreed to one final title match with some big stakes. If he won, the championship was his, but if he lost, he would be banished from SmackDown. With all this going on, plus the long history between the two competitors, this was a must-see bout, and the action it produced was worthy of such a moniker. In one of the best SmackDown finales of all time, Bryan came within inches of besting Reigns many times before finally succumbing to the guillotine choke. A brilliantly worked match with plenty of drama throughout and a history-making finish, Reigns vs. Bryan was everything it needed to be and more, and easily the best match of the year to take place in front of 0 fans. Number 3, Edge vs. Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel.
Oh, the cranberry. Cute on the outside.
In order to win his second Royal Rumble match, Edge eliminated Seth Rollins in what he thought was the final spot of the night. In reality, there was a whole thing with Randy Orton, but that's for another time. It makes sense then that these two would come back together later in the year, having a trilogy of matches that began at SummerSlam and culminated in grand fashion at Crown Jewel inside Hell in a Cell. Sorry, couldn't help myself. Despite taking place at Crown Jewel, a show not known for great matches, Rollins vs. Edge was absolutely electric. For the first time in a long time, the stipulation felt genuinely earned, like it was a last resort for two men who genuinely couldn't stand each other, and they used the demonic cube to its full potential. From chairs and tables to ladders and steps to a damn steel chain, the ring looked like a bomb site with various bits of shrapnel strewn all over as these gladiators gave everything they had to get the win. The Rated R superstar got the job done after using Seth's own stomp against him to round out one of the best cell matches in recent memory. Number 2, Sasha Banks vs. Bianca Belair at WrestleMania 37 Night 1. For the first time in
easily the best women's match in recent memory. Easily one of the best matches WWE has put on in the last couple of years. Easily. It helped Bianca take that next step in her career, and the match delivered. It did. It really did.
WrestleMania history, two African-American performers squared off in the main event as Sasha Banks defended her SmackDown Women's Championship against Bianca Belair. Bianca had put on a star-making performance in the Royal Rumble, winning from the number 3 spot, but her build to the match with Banks had been lackluster to say the least. It featured a lot of Reggie for some reason. Don't know who thought that was a good idea. Thankfully, us wrestling fans have short memories, so when they saw both ladies getting emotional at the start of this massive match, all was forgiven. And that is when things got good. Banks and Belair both rose to the occasion, but especially the challenger, who showed everyone why she deserved to be the new face of women's wrestling in WWE. From carrying Sasha up the steps in a press slam position to slicing the boss's stomach open with a vicious hair whip, Bianca looked every bit the main eventer here, and her opponent did a brilliant job in making her look great whilst also keeping the match interesting. The EST won the battle and the championship in one of the best WrestleMania women's matches we've ever seen. Number 1, Roman Reigns vs. Daniel Bryan vs. Edge at WrestleMania 37 Night 2.
This was kind of almost like a rehash of the WrestleMania 30 stuff, kind of. I mean, you had Roman Reigns going in as champion. You had Edge, who won the Royal Rumble. Daniel Bryan, who came close to winning sometimes, and then I think he had a match with them at Fastlane, had a match with Roman, and then I think Edge was supposed to be like the special enforcer or something like that, and he got involved, unfortunately allowing the match to kind of be thrown out, which ultimately led to this triple threat match.
Banks vs. Belair may well have been the best match of the entire year had this masterpiece not come along just one night later. Just when it looked like Roman Reigns was going to face Royal Rumble winner Edge at Mania 37, Daniel Bryan stuck his hairy little head round the door and reminded everybody how good he was. The match was made a triple threat, with Reigns as the heel, Bryan as the babyface, and Edge somewhere in the middle. This dynamic created a lot of intrigue heading into WrestleMania, and mercifully, fans were rewarded for their investment. Rather than being one of those dull three-ways WWE is sometimes guilty of, this was all action, all drama, all of the time. It was realistic that any of the men involved could have won, which kept things super interesting, especially as they all came close on numerous occasions. What this fight will be remembered for is the amazing image of Roman stacking both of his opponents to pin them at the same time, asserting his dominance after a truly spectacular display from all involved. Little did we know that this was only the beginning.
This was only the beginning of what was to come. I mean, one of a legendary title reign. And the fact that you had, like I said, he stacked them and pinned them to get the win. The thing is with the match is anybody could have won. The way they were setting it up, anybody could have easily walked out as Universal Champion. And I don't think I would have been upset with anybody walking out. I wouldn't have been upset if they were to give Edge another world title run, considering how his other world title reign years prior ended with him having to relinquish it due to injury and never really getting to continue his reign and have a definitive ending to his reign. I think that was something that I think people would want to see. I don't think people would have been upset if Daniel Bryan would have gotten another world title run as well, considering the runs that he's been having with the world titles in the past and stuff like that. So I don't think people would have been too upset about it. But comment down below, let me know, what are some of your favorite matches from WWE in 2021? If they were on this list, let me know what they were and why they were. And if they weren't on this list, let me know what match do you deem some of the best matches of 2021. I would love to hear what you guys say in the comment section down below. Road to 300 subscribers. We're so close to that milestone, but the ultimate goal is 10K. When I do hit 10K, I will do a giveaway. But one of my lucky subscribers will have the opportunity to win a WWE Championship from WWE Shop. So if you want to have the opportunity to be a part of that, go subscribe to my channel. It's absolutely free. You know, I will change your mind in the future. But why would you want to do that? I'm trying to give you guys daily wrestling content. The grind does not stop. Super kick that like button, helps my channel gets pushed across the platform so more people can see what I'm doing over on YouTube. Superman punch that post notification bell so now it's time to post a new video. So if it's whether it's a reaction video, rant video, live stream, any type of video, you can be little bit things when I do drop a video. And spear the subscribe button. Takes 3 seconds out of your day to do 3 things for me. Helps on the progression of my channel. But with that being said, everybody has a great day, a great week. Stay tuned. Some more content will be on the way later today. I will be doing some stuff on my podcast channel, so stay tuned for that. But with that being said, hope everybody has a great day, a great week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.